Nikola Tesla is very famously quoted in saying that you will live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. This quote has been repeated on the internet so often that it itself has become a meme. For instance, here's that same quote alongside Theodore from Alvin and the Fat Monks. Now, people paste this quote over many an eldritch horror or a biblically accurate angel or some other sort of monstrosity, but what I feel most people miss about this quote is the notion that this man-made horror will be beyond your comprehension. Incomprehensible, you will not be able to understand this man-made horror, which means the really sinister thing about this quote is that you have maybe already witnessed this man-made horror, but you are unable to perceive the monstrosity in front of you. For instance, here's a copy of Super Mario 64 on the PS2. The idea of playing Super Mario 64 with compatible camera controls adjusted thanks to a second joypad keeps me awake at night. We got a real chicken and egg situation with this quote, don't we? Is the monster so horrific that it becomes impossible to comprehend, or is it our inability to comprehend the monster that makes it so horrific? But Sumito, I don't watch your videos to have philosophical debates about what man-made horrors may be beyond my comprehension. I came here to talk about memes. Wake up! This simulation isn't that complicated. We have been talking about memes. Have you ever wondered what this is? Like, I feel like I've seen this meme, variations of this meme. I feel like people use this meme to portray what everybody understands is supposed to be some sort of big brain, high IQ take. But like, have you ever looked closely at this thing? Like, this is an extraordinary amount of, like, cranium matter, right? According to KnowYourMeme.com, the Big Brain Wojak was originally posted on a 4chan board back in 2016, with one of the earliest examples posted to Twitter in 2017, but this earliest example on Twitter already has like 6 different Big Brain Wojaks already baked into it. The origin of how exaggerated this meme has become has already felt like it's been lost to time. I'm sure some of you have seen the Galaxy Brain meme, comparing people who use the word who to the word whomst, who'd, what else we have here? Whomst if, int, and then finally there's the Big Brain Wojak with a brain so large that he's encased in a bed made of his own cranium, making love to a woman who is also his own brain, while quoting, "Whomst did evly yaint int ed is yes est." I can't comprehend this. Is this the horror? When it comes to the Galaxy Brain meme, at least the progression of the meme is part of the meme itself. It's self-explanatory. Any individual panel of this image would be confusing on its own, but it's the progression of small brain to Galaxy Brain that lets you know that we're taking steps up in mental thinking capacity and IQ or what have you. But when you just post an individual Big Brain Wojak like this one, I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret this. What even is this? One of you Vsauce fans, is this a Tesseract? Or a Klein jar? Is this the Dunning-Kruger effect? What is this shit? There are so many examples of the Big Brain Wojak with a brain so large that he's using it as some sort of like hot air balloon, some sort of self-contained flotation device to float above all the brainlets, which is cool as like a symbolic gesture, but if you're able to float, doesn't that mean that this giant brain of yours is just empty? Furthermore, completely full of hot air? Also, brain 10 times the size of your body. You still need to be wearing glasses? Your brain didn't develop to the fact that you don't need to look like a fucking dork? This example of the Big Brain Wojak mimics the story of Sisyphus, somebody who has to push a boulder up a never-ending hill, only to ultimately fail, have the boulder fall back down, and then continue for eternity, except it's the Big Brain Wojak's brain, which I think is interesting because every time that he pushes his brain up the hill, he learns a little bit more about the best technique to apply thrust to continue to push the brain up the hill. But in learning this technique, his brain gets larger, therefore making it harder and him having to continue to implement new techniques to be able to continue to push up his brain. It is his own brain power limiting his ability to accomplish his goal. Wait a second. I think I just comprehended this one. These aren't incomprehensible. All of these memes make sense. Sometimes not very much, but like they are all grounded in reality. For instance, this big brain Wojak is playing chess. Chess is generally considered to be a high IQ game. Geniuses in chess are generally considered to be intellectual humans in other aspects of their life, so it only makes sense somebody with a brain so large that he could make another person to play a game against would decide to play the highest IQ game of all. I would have chosen StarCraft 2, but still. Is this not checkmate? By the way, you have either a pawn turned queen or a rook on the opposite side of the board there. Isn't this over? Who is even... What happens if one person... You're playing against yourself. What does this even mean? Who wins here? So it's a Wojak holding an abacus, who has a man grown out of his head who has become Atlas holding up the world, and the man, Atlas, and the world are all made up of his own brain. Incredible. But also My Little Pony big brain Wojak. Something to think about, right? What if it's all a trap? What if comprehension is not the escape from the horrors of which we cannot conceive? What if the ability to be able to comprehend is in fact the horror itself? Burdened by our own intellect. They say ignorance is bliss for a reason, and now that we are able to comprehend these memes, what stops these memes from growing ever so much more incomprehensible? Nikola Tesla's quote does not say horrors beyond your comprehension with no qualifications. He specifically says man-made horrors beyond our comprehension, which means somebody needed to be able to comprehend it at some point, right? So is the incomprehensibility of these memes coming from a lack of understanding? Is it the fact that people choose rather to remain in ignorance the real horror? What the fuck is this? A very interesting development in the big brain Wojak has been the Fell For It Again award. This image has been something that has been posted on the internet in a couple different ways, basically to interpret somebody who has yet again fallen to some sort of trick by somebody on the internet. Ever so constantly that they need to be awarded a medal for just how remarkable it is that they continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. Notably, almost in stark contrast of the big brain Wojak, this image is instead awarded to the smallest brained individuals on the internet one could conceive of. The Fell For It Again award is a reinterpretation, a remake of the Posted It Again award. Effectively just people calling out individuals who are making stories, posting memes, creating images that already exist, reposting things for like, and then giving them medals basically like, here buddy, here's the attention that you have been seeking, so much so, have an award for it. So much so, as reposting on the internet has become more common, there have become more and more complex and convoluted interpretations of this in order to showcase just how often this post has been reposted. On the modern internet, it's basically inescapable for memes to leak into the political landscape, as the US political election and the news surrounding Donald Trump's recent presidency has basically become all anybody has talked about. And as a result, people have been getting a tremendous amount of mileage out of using the Fell For It Again award when responding to Trump supporting people now showing disdain for his newest policies, whether they be trying to invade Canada and turn it into one of the United States, renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, or any one of the other dozens of things that will probably continue to come out well after this video goes live. As with all memes, we start comprehensible. We put a medal on a guy. Guess what, buddy? You voted for him in office, and now you fell for his tricks. Have a medal for it. Fell for it again? Here, let's give you a few more medals, just to really hammer in the point that this has happened quite a number of times and you shouldn't be surprised anymore. Fell for it again? How about I fell for you again, huh? Like and subscribe. Do you guys think that's enough medals? I feel, okay, we get the point. I mean, arguably, if you didn't know what this image started with, if it weren't for the red MAGA hat, it'd be almost hard to tell what we're even making a meme of at this point. This one's just disgusting. This is like the body horror equivalent of a Wojak meme. I don't think we were ever supposed to get this far. Okay, alright, we're officially entering incomprehensible territory. Is this the Super Mutant Master, the final boss of the first Fallout game? Who is it? Who's even gonna get this reference? What situation would you need this for? No, it's not that I don't understand that this is supposed to be depicting Tetsuya Shima from the Akira franchise. I understand that. What I don't understand is why. I think it's all starting to make sense. It's not that the horrors are beyond your comprehension, or that it's that you can't comprehend them that makes the horrors so horrible. It's not that you can't comprehend it, it's that you won't comprehend it. You can't make reason out of something that is unreasonable. There is no way to find purpose into why these memes were made if they were ultimately made for no reason. The man-made horrors that we can't comprehend were the friends we made along the way? I'm gonna go drill some screws into my head and see if that helps a little bit, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Shpisu!